to occupied Goma. Now the detail. Road expansion joints on artillery and GRA flyovers have been stolen, leading to increasing fears by motorists. An expansion joint is an assembly designed to hold parts together while safely absorbing temperature-induced expansion and contraction of building materials found between sections of bridges and other structures. The chairman of Commercial Drivers Welfare Association, Christopher Izani, in an interview with Today FM Sandra Kenneth, said their vehicle tires had been destroyed on the bridges. He expressed worries that if not immediately attended to, accidents may occur as flyovers are mainly for speeding vehicle. He called on the state government to urgently replace the missing manholes while questioning the duties of road safety in reporting cases of damaged roads that could lead to serious accidents and loss of lives.
The situation at Artillery Flyover Head Bridge is a time bomb waiting to explode. The manhole that connects the both joints of the tires is completely removed, and it is causing the bursting of vehicle tires and will lead to a fatal accident that will consume lives and property. The same is also at GRA Flyover. Please, for the sake of the road users, we want an urgent replacement of the manholes from the state government. The government are seeing it, road safety are operating through there, and nothing is being done. It is better the government fix it for us than compensating the family that may lost their loved ones. A stitch in time saves 9.
Meanwhile, in a bid to curb the effect of flooding in communities, youth leaders have begun evacuating drainages and implementing strict environmental rules. The Ikinigbo Youth President General Bobby Ezekiel commenced sanitation process in communities under his purview after some visibility studies revealed how some occupants use slabs to cover water passages. Bobby expressed worries that Molu community, which is among the worst hit when flood happens, especially the yearly vacation and a halt of businesses during rainy seasons, also blamed the man-made disaster. He also blamed the annual flooding in the area to the small drainages and lack of proper water route, as he called on government at all levels to assist in expanding such drainages.
Tied to my office, asked the Youth President General. After some visibility studies, we find out that our drainage were totally blocked, and most businessmen and women were molding a permanent slab that could also affect the normal environmental sanitation cleanup exercise in the drain. A lot of them had a very distant slab, so we had no option to write to them and also copy the Nigerian police force for them to assist us in opening that slab and also ensuring that the drainage is free to enable free flow of water.
Bobby Hua further calling for the speedy assumption of the democratically elected government in the state noted the devastating effect lack of proper policies had caused communities, leaving them to self-help.
We also use this medium to pray for the speedy assumption of the democratically elected governor, Sir Similalayi Fubra, so that he can also come to assist us in making sure that this our drain that is too small is wide open and is channeled to a good and appropriate quarter, so that if this water is moving now, it is going to somewhere, not that the water will move and at the end of the day it has nowhere it goes to, or it is very slow in going to where it's supposed to go.
The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, in Rivers State has condemned the alleged assault on its Okrika Task Force supervisor on anti-vandalism, Ibinna, below Ibokari. Speaking to newsmen over the weekend, the Okrika Unit Task Force head, Ibinabo Ibokiri, alleged that he was brutally attacked and injured by pipeline vandals in Greenama community, an Okrika local government area. Ibokiri explained that the attack followed a sting operation carried out by the IPMAN Task Force in collaboration with operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. Ibinabo Ibokari said the joint team had earlier stormed the NNPC or Kari Jetty, where illegal oil pipeline vandalism was taking place, and recovered about 25 stolen pipes, a development he claimed prompted the vandals to launch an assault on him days after.
Mounted pressure to see how we can evacuate those pipes to Civil Defense headquarters. Thereafter, I went back to my home. The next day, we had a monthly meeting that was holding at Ipman office secretariat. When I went there, after the meeting, I now said, okay, let me just reach out to a friend at Abam and discuss one or two issues with him. By the time I finished that meeting, it was belated. Instead of coming back to Port Harcourt, let me stay at Okrika and pass the night. On my way going home, they now saw me on bike and dragged me down, tore all my clothes, naked me, took all my belongings, ATM card, that they would kill me.
Reacting to the development, the chairman of Ipman in River State, Tekena Ibaki, condemned the alleged attack on the Ipman Task Force Okrika Unit head, Ibinabo Ibukiri, describing it as atrocious. Tekena Ibaki, however, called for stronger collaboration with security agencies and relevant stakeholders, particularly Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited (PNIL), to intensify the fight against oil pipeline vandalism in the area.
It came as a shock to me when I heard the news. In honest, I never expected that kind of an act. It's condemnable. Such a thing should not happen anywhere else. When he called me and sent me pictures and I had to invite him over, seeing him brutalized by a group of persons from which the civil defense recovered the pipes from. If such a thing continues, it might culminate into or pose a threat to and danger to lives. I'm calling on all necessary government agencies that are saddled with the responsibility of securing the pipelines and all to synergize with IPMA to see how we can do this job better.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has conducted an on-the-spot assessment of flood-ravaged communities in Shindam local government area, Plateau State. This followed a recent windstorm that destroyed over 50 houses and several hectares of rice farms, which were washed away by flood. The JOS Operations Office team, led by the Chief Relief and Rehabilitation Officer, Judith Bayer, during a visit to the affected villages, lamented that the incident had affected the people and their sources of livelihood. The community head called on NEMA, the state and federal government, as well as relevant bodies to come to their aid. Nigeria has been named among 8 African countries that contributed to a clinical trial leading to the approval of the first malaria treatment for newborns and infants weighing less than 5 kilograms. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which made this known in a statement, applauded Nigeria for its role in the trials. The treatment, an infant-friendly Artemata lumefantrine, is the first of its kind for children under 5 kilograms. It dissolves in breast milk and comes with a sweet flavor to make administration easier for newborns. Health workers often had to modify doses of medicines meant for older children, a practice that carried the risk of overdose and toxicity. Swiss regulators have already approved the formulation, while Nigeria and the other participating countries expected to fast-track clearance under the Swiss agency's marketing authorization for global health products procedure. The Africa CDC Director General Jean Kaseya described the breakthrough as a major step forward in the fight against malaria. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated all the winners of August 16 by-elections in 16 constituencies across 12 states of the country. In a statement by his presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, the president also commended the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for the hitch-free elections, mostly devoid of violence. Following the results declared by INEC, the All Progressives Congress (APC) won in 12 constituencies, the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) won in 2, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) won in 1, and the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) won in 1. President Tinubu congratulated the new APC National Chairman, Professor Nentawa Iwada, for the emphatic first victory recorded under his leadership. He also congratulated the APC governors and other leaders on the success of the by-elections. President Tinubu also commended all the political parties and candidates who participated in the election and enjoined them to continue to be guided by the spirit of sportsmanship, fair contest, and magnanimity, which are enablers of enduring democracy. The People's Democratic Party, PDP in Edo State, has rejected the conduct and the results of the Saturday, August 16, 2025 senatorial and House of Representatives by-elections in the state. This followed after the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) declared the candidates of the All Progressives Congress (APC) winners of the election. The commission declared Joseph Ikbeya and Omosede Ibinedion the winners of the Edo Central Senatorial District and the Ovia Federal Constituency by-elections. In a statement by Chris Nehikari, Elections Secretary, Edo PDP Caretaker Committee, the party rejected the purported results being circulated by INEC. The party alleged that while INEC hid under the so-called glitches and malfunctions, the real issue was its lack of competence, neutrality and moral standing. According to Neikari, the Beavers is the single most important tool that guarantees the credibility of elections in Nigeria. You're listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Do stay with us.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now the rest of our stories. The federal government has issued new guidelines on public-private partnerships, decentralizing approval powers to ministries, departments and agencies. Issued through the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, the guidelines provide directions and requirements to set up the project approval board for the new approval thresholds of under 20 billion naira for ministries and 10 billion naira for agencies and parastatals as approved by the President. It provides steps for preparing the outline business case, full business case and financial model and guides the procurement routes, PPP agreement, among others. It said the new guidelines were introduced to regulate the development and implementation of all PPP projects in Nigeria to accelerate and attract private sector investment. The disclosure was contained in a statement by the Commission stating that the framework was developed under the ICRC Act 2005 and in line with the presidential directive aimed at overhauling Nigeria's infrastructure delivery through PPPs. Meanwhile, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has warned the public against falling for the antics of fraudsters with regard to the 753 housing units seized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, which were forfeited to the federal government. The EFCC handed over the housing units to the ministry in May 2025. While taking possession of the estate from the anti-graft agency, the Minister of Housing, Ahmed Dangiwa, announced plans by the federal government to sell the houses to interested members of the public through a transparent and competitive process in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. However, in a statement by the Director, Press and Public Relations of the Ministry, Bademasi Haiba, the Ministry said it had not engaged any individual or corporate entity to sell the units. He said that the disclaimer became necessary following a claim by a company that it had been appointed as the official auctioneers for the sale of the estate units. Haiba explained that the ministry had learned that the company had written proposals and introduction letters to unsuspecting Nigerians and agencies asking them to purchase an expression of interest form to buy the houses. He further advised the public to direct all inquiries to the ministry through the Department of Public Building and Housing Development and Press and Public Relations for clarification before committing their resources to purchase such property. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has called on the National Assembly to refer allegations that lawmakers pay up to 3 million naira to present bills, motions and petitions at plenary to anti-graft agencies for investigation. The group made this call in an open letter by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadari, to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. A member of the House of Representatives, Ibrahim Aoyo, APC Jigawa, had in a viral video alleged that lawmakers part with between 1 million naira and 3 million naira to present bills, motions and petitions at the National Assembly. In the letter, Serap urged Akpabio and Abbas to name anyone that may be involved in the alleged bribery and to ensure the recovery of any proceeds of bribery, while also calling for the protection of Aoyo as a whistleblower. Sarab maintained that the allegations that lawmakers were paying the said farmers bribes in exchange for presenting motions and bills make a mockery of lawmaking and legislative powers under Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999, as amended. The group warned that if the National Assembly leadership fails to act within 7 days, it would consider legal actions to compel compliance in the public interest. AU had alleged that lawmakers pay from 3 to or 1 million naira to present a bill and must follow up by lobbying all 360 members of the House to accept the bill. The Oganuruapo Social Culture Organization has congratulated Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Okewali, on his appointment as chairman of the Governing Council of the River State University, and Mebe Nwezi Mwabilu on her appointment as a member of the River State Board of Internal Revenue. In a statement issued on behalf of the organization's president, Chukwu Chinogorum, the group described the appointments as a testament to hard work, dedication, and the trust reposed in the illustrious son and daughter of the Akbo Kingdom. Chinogorum noted that the appointment were proof of commitment to service, adding that Akbo people remain grateful to the River State government for finding them worthy to serve.
On behalf of Oganuruapo, the Central CDC, the youths, and the students of Akbo, we wish to extend our heartfelt congratulations to our own brother and sister, Okewali, SAN, as was appointed the chairman of River State University Governing Council, and also to Mebe Nwezi Webilo as a member of River State Board of Internal Revenue. The appointment is a testimony of hard work and dedication. Our people are grateful to River State government for this appointment, finding their son and daughter worthy to be appointed. We wish them the very best as they render their selfless services to our dear state, River State.
Chinogorum further charged the appointees to see their new roles as a call to greater responsibility.
Your appointment to office is not only a recognition of your capabilities, but also a call to service and responsibility. So you need to be fair in your dealing as you take up these responsibilities. May your actions also bring progress, unity, and positive transformation in our state. Once again, congratulations.
And on the foreign scene, the Congolese government has rejected Kenya's appointment of a consul general to the city of Goma, describing the decision as inappropriate. Goma, located in eastern Congo, has been at the center of a conflict between the Congolese government and the Rwanda-backed M23 rebel group. It launched a lightning assault on the mineral-rich regional city in January. Goma fell to the rebel group after days of fighting, and the Congolese army withdrew. Kinshasa said naming a consul to the city amounted to disrespect for the country's territorial integrity and could appear to legitimize the group's occupation. In addition, it said Kenya did not contact Kinshasa before making the announcement as required by international law and diplomatic practice. The Rwanda-backed M23 group has seized swathes of territory in the eastern DRC this year in its long-standing battle with the army. Following its territorial gains, it has attempted to establish a parallel government as part of the Congo River Alliance, claiming it is freeing the region from what it alleges is misrule by Kinshasa. In sports, Wiki tourists have announced the signing of 9 players ahead of the 2025-26 Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL season. Experienced midfielder Nasiru Awalu joined the Bochi Elefrom Kano Pillars. Other new additions are Philip Johnson, Sani Ibrahim, Louis De Dong, Abdullahi Usman, among others. Wiki Tourist also handed Saddam Nahuta his first professional contract following his outstanding performance with non-league side Warinji FC. Abdullahi Meikabe's side will kick off their 2025-26 campaign with a clash against Plateau United. The match will be staged at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bochi on Friday, 22nd of August. To end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. Commercial drivers in Port Harcourt have raised alarm over stolen road expansion joints on both artillery and GRA flyovers. Rivers youth have begun evacuating drainages to curb the effect of flooding on communities. We told you that the federal government has issued new guidelines on public-private partnerships. And on the foreign scene, you also heard that the Democratic Republic of Congo has rejected Kenya's naming of consul to occupied Goma. That was the news as edited by Stella Sasongo Corey. For comment and inquiries, please call 0818 389 2850 or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. My name is Queen Chima. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Get ready to feel the rhythm, the groove, and the true vibes of Africa. This is not just music. This is high life. From the legends to the latest, we're bringing you the best of palm wine grooves, jazzy horns, and soul-stirring melodies. There was a sound that told our stories, a rhythm that made our fathers dance and our mothers smile. Welcome to The Thrill, a musical journey through time where legends live on and new stars shine. Join us from Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. on Today 95.1 FM for the ultimate high life musical show. Don't just listen, feel the music. High life lives here.
African style. African style. African style. It all begins with breaking news.
Now, make no mistake, this is a difficult mission, and it will remain difficult for some time.
Then it keeps trending. Events, issues, personalities, all struggling to gain attention. But in the race with deadlines, the intrigues, power play, undercurrents are often missed or underreported.
Insecurity here is basically a product of poverty.
But not anymore.
As the platform on radio steps in to fill the missing links on events, issues, and personalities in the news.
I'm not afraid of anybody. Yeah!
The platform on radio serves only the hottest topics and trending issues. Only on Today 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt.
Weekdays, 4 p.m.
Get on the platform on radio and be served.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to pay a fine for an indictment? Then you later found out that there was an already established law to protect you from that penalty. Have you ever been denied a position because of your gender or disability? Have you ever been discriminated, treated unfairly, assaulted or cheated by your landlord, employer, tax collectors, bank, family, business partners, and the police? What if the breach between you and justice is just the right knowledge? I'm sure you've heard that knowledge is power. Join us every Saturday, 10 to 10:30 a.m. on Today 95.1 FM for the program The Law Today, to get acquainted with your legal rights and beneficial interests as a citizen of Nigeria. The Law Today, 10 to 10:30 a.m. every Saturday, is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Wake up to today's quest, where breakfast on the radio is full course. We start with some motivation to ignite the spark in you for a great day. Then a full interactive sports show on Sport Attack 6:30 a.m. Unbeatable and concise news report on the world news at 7 a.m. And our newspaper review segment now 7:30 a.m. Oh yes, 7:30 a.m. The scoops and the commentaries from my esteemed panelists. Today's quest, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Miss it, you miss out.
This one wahala be like bicycle. They just
Waiting they happen. Now for today 95.1 FM, 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, Bomkwem. Now here you go here. Waiting they happen for Niger and Obodo the world. Now that time where we they bring you Ogbonga to them, we'll go shock you. You go wonder, say a person do like this. Now so we they bring them, can't give you acid the hot. Now where would they find way to sweep this country? Don't run. You go start blood in the chopper. You say this one. No worry. When time I reach, I'll say I want to take. I see where they go.
Homeland is homeland.
Me, I go punket for them. I no go be get man at that time for airport. Waiting they happen. Make
This
you know
is Myra.
Mazi Ike God Ike Machuku and MC Kuro for waiting they happen. You go enjoy yourself. No forget to say woman they chop our recharge card woto. I don't tell una say this place na education center. As you sit down here with us from Monday to Friday, you go enjoy waiting they happen. Waiting they happen. Make you no miss them at all.
It's been an exciting week. It's been an awesome week. And just in case you missed out on our big stories this week, we got you covered. Rewind comes up every Saturday, 6:30 a.m. And here you get your total rundown of all the big stories and trends for the week in River State. And this is brought to you by your premium talk radio, Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Rewind, 6:30 a.m. every Saturday. Don't miss it. A person who knows how to read and does not read is no different from a person who does not know how to read at all.
Books are the mirrors of the soul, a powerful tool for change, a means to an end. That end is a peaceful society which grooms enlightened and empowered individuals. So, make literature your utopia.
This same issue that we see in this book is still prevalent in our society today. Like up to today, some parents, some people
will still say you can't marry from this tribe. You shouldn't marry from this tribe.
God forbid, I can't marry.
Yeah. Join us in book review every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Let's help you find your utopia.
Education never ends, and we believe it starts even way earlier than most of us think. On Andre Gorgie, every Tuesday, 1 to 2 p.m., we unravel these various building blocks and its challenges that make you and I better versions of ourselves. Andre Gorgie on Today 95.1 FM.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Newbie, and welcome to People Fixing the World from the BBC World Service, where we discover solutions that are changing our world for the better. Now, People Fixing the World will be back soon, but until then, we are bringing you a special episode. In Speaking Out, Sean Alsop explores the innovative technologies revolutionizing life for those with communication challenges.
I'm Sean Alsop, and growing up, I had a speech disorder. It wasn't until the age of 8 that I started to speak, and it was only through years of speech therapy that I was finally able to find my voice. Those early years really cemented the emotions of not being understood and struggling to express myself. And so, I want to see what is being done in the world to help people find their voice today. This is Speaking Out from the BBC World Service. The National Institute of Health in the US estimates 10% of people have communication difficulties, ranging from speech disorders to mobility-related conditions. And my journey to explore the solutions being developed starts locally, in London, UK. Hello, Richard.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good,
Hi, my name's Richard Cave. I'm a speech and language therapist and an expert advisor to the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists.
Richard Cave has been working extensively with new emerging technologies to assist people who have been losing their speech through deteriorating conditions. He collaborated with Google for several years to improve voice recognition systems so they can better understand people with speech difficulties. And the day I met Richard marked a significant milestone in that work. Hi. Sean's here. So. Hello there.
That's me.
Lovely to meet you.
Mom. My daughter. Hi. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yvonne has early stage MS, or multiple sclerosis, and her daughter Kayla has been helping take care of her. Multiple sclerosis is a progressive neurological disorder that affects the central nervous system, impairing movement, coordination and speech as nerve signals become disrupted throughout the body. But on the day I met her, Yvonne was finally getting her voice back again.
Can I get some water?
Oh yeah, some water will be fabulous,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah.
I'll go back in a minute.
No worries. Richard, what's the next step then?
Well, I created this voice using some files, and we created this AI-driven voice bank, which only I've heard.
Yvonne has been taking part in something called voice banking. It involves recording a person's voice or providing voice data, which is then used by artificial intelligence to create a synthetic version that sounds just like their natural voice. Voice banking has been around since the early 2000s and has grown alongside advancements in technology. It's increasingly used in parts of the world with widespread access to digital devices, such as laptops and smartphones. Yvonne has sent over 50 voice recordings, made before her condition progressed, to Richard, who's worked on systems that allow whatever is typed on a laptop or smartphone to be read aloud using this personalised digital voice. The process captures a speaker's unique flair, with natural tone, rhythm and vocal characteristics. Specialised software then builds a synthetic voice model, which can be used with a speech-generating device. This enables individuals to continue communicating in a voice that sounds like their own, helping them maintain their identity and emotional connection with others. How has this journey been with your voice progressively going for the both of you? How has it sort of been?
Go with the flow, but in the meantime, you know.
As it progressed, it was hard to see because it was like, wait, did I kind of take my mum for granted, or she could speak? Like, you don't actually realise how important a voice is and how I've even taken it for granted.
Are you looking forward to what's going to be played?
Yeah, 100%.
I asked you, Yvonne, what you'd like to hear first, and there's a bit of a running joke about your husband Orville never listening to you, and yet Kayla always understands you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Why do you never understand me, Orv?
I know. Wow. Look at me.
I know.
And how about this?
Kayla always understands me, and why is that? For the 100th time, get your hearing checked.
Amazing. How come I do that?
Yeah. And you can now type anything you like on that, and it will come out in that voice.
What you didn't realise was when you were recording all these messages,
yeah,
they were preserving.
Yeah. And actually, I ask people now to just keep all their messages as much as they can, and just to, because this is how we got your voice back. Yeah.
From my own experience, I know a little about how it feels not being understood when speaking. But I wanted to hear Yvonne's thoughts about the emotions that go with this experience. And with her new technology, she was able to tell me her thoughts easily.
Having clear speech is part of an individual's personality. This is why AI is so important to me, and eventually many others. Their place in society will continue to exist.
You and Orv are renewing your wedding vows. It's like, this is what this technology is supposed to be for. It's not about technology, it's about us as people, and it's about living our lives and saying we love each other and stuff like that. That's what this is. And people talk about AI and stuff. No. Let's talk about us. Us first,
The average cost of this software across numerous companies can range from anywhere between $100 and $1,000. Some companies offer it for free with a joint collaboration with charities for those affected by a condition. Whilst many people like Yvonne are able to use such technologies, there's also a consideration needed for those who are affected by mobility difficulties, who wouldn't necessarily be able to type their thoughts.
Let's start with what a BCI is. A BCI, or a brain-computer interface, is a device that records brain signals from people that are paralyzed and then translate those brain signals to allow people to control objects in their environment using their minds.
David Brand, a professor in the Department of Neurological Surgery at UC Davis in the US, is working on a project called BrainGate.
Now, fundamentally, a BCI is three parts. There's some way of getting brain signals or a source of brain signals. There's mathematics that translates those brain signals into a command that's used to control an external device. And what my group is focusing on is listening to the fundamental unit of computation for the human brain, individual nerve cells or neurons, and then translating the activity of neurons to allow people to communicate. Now, BrainGate is a clinical trial that is designed to study the safety profile of chronically implanted electrodes in people with paralysis. The idea is people with paralysis undergo surgical implantation of microelectrode arrays into their brain, and then thereafter work with scientific teams to develop next-generation neuroprosthetics to help people living with paralysis. Now, the idea of the clinical trial is that we're trying to learn how safe are these devices, and then as people volunteer their time to work with our teams, they help us learn more about how the brain works and help us develop next-generation neuroprosthetics for communication. Now, within BrainGate, we've been doing this for about 20 years now, and this is where Casey's story comes in.
Maybe you want to start lower, just until he gets used to the task. We can pause if we have to.
Yeah.
Great.
We can always pause for any reason.
Okay, ready?
In 2023, I surgically implanted microelectrode arrays into the motor speech areas of the brain. And the idea is, as Casey tries to speak, we are recording his brain activity and then translating his brain activity to have words appear on a screen.
Casey Harrell has been unable to verbally communicate for 3 years due to his diagnosis of ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which affects his muscle movement. Working with David, Casey was able to use the BCI chip, connecting his head to a computer and allowing his thoughts through electronic waves to appear written on a screen.
Okay, ready? It's okay. Take your time.
What you're hearing is the first time Casey was able to use BCI.
Hello, and welcome to the first conversation with a brain-to-computer interface person. I am Casey Harrell, and I am an environmental advocate for the Sunrise Project, doing work in the financial sector on climate change.
After implantation and recovery, David visited Casey at home and asked him to read short sentences from a screen. After about an hour of collecting data this way, David was able to turn the system on.
And what that means is, rather than simply asking him to speak, we were asking him to speak and then translating his brain activity as he was speaking to have words appear on a screen. And so we were in the room, we were turning on the system for the first time, and we were asking him to speak and words appear on a screen. And that moment was magical. And it was magical because it was the first time that he was empowered to speak and could be understood independently in years.
And similar to Yvonne, Casey's voice has been created from archived recordings.
People with my disease lose the ability to talk over time. So it was a slow motion car crash, to make a metaphor. It was really terrible. In a situation where fewer and fewer people were able to understand me without someone translating for me. Until basically, my wife and daughter are the only people who can understand me currently at all.
How was that moment for you the first time you used it?
It was amazing, and I still get a lot of strong feelings about it because it basically said to me that I was going to be able to continue communicating to my friends and family in a way that was much, much faster than anything else on the market. And this would make a difference in terms of being able to be in the life of my then 5-year-old daughter and be able to continue to work and earn a living. I am working with another member of the team to even be able to sing again, and this is a work in progress. I think that the first things that I would sing would be the last thing that I sung to my daughter before I lost the ability to sing, which is the children's book and nursery rhyme Baby Beluga.
Currently, BCI is in a clinical trial stage, with only a small number of individuals around the world trialling it, such as the Netherlands and Germany. It's not commercially available yet. The prices are estimated to be around $100,000. But is this something that eventually could be rolled out wider?
You know, Sean, everything we've done so far has been a part of a clinical trial that's designed to study the safety profile of these devices. You know, I'd like to be able to meet a patient and say, you know, I'm sorry, Miss Smith, you've been diagnosed with ALS. While I don't have a cure for ALS, at least I have a device that is going to allow you to communicate with your loved ones, to talk to your doctor, and to talk to your family, to say, I love you, right? I think we're on the horizon next 5 years where that's going to be realistic, but we're not there now.
This is Speaking Out from the BBC World Service. As someone who needed support with my communication growing up, this is an incredibly fascinating area of research and development, and I know there are many more children facing challenges I did. So I wanted to find out, what developments have there been since my own time in the classroom?
Hello!
Meet QT Robot, designed in Luxembourg and used as a tool for therapists and educators. QT Robot is a 2-foot-tall, white humanoid robot with a screen for a face that shows different expressions. You might hear soft mechanical sounds as it moves its arms. It uses these gestures to express itself, and it's specifically designed to support children with complex needs, helping them learn about emotions, communication, and speech.
Are you ready to play? I'll make a sound. You can listen, and then you can copy me. Ta-da! Then you say, ta-da! Ta-da!
Well done.
Impressive!
Hazel Cottage, a school which supports autistic children in Liverpool, UK, have been at the forefront of utilising QT Robot in the classroom, with teacher Jack and speech therapist Bethan incorporating the device into numerous activities.
Look! The boy's pretending to be an airplane. Your turn. Pretend to be an airplane. Wonderful!
I think as children are using this, it takes that interpersonal communication away, because so often our children who have autism, they tend to struggle with that social communication. The QT Robot works on that, but it takes a lot of the pressure away from communicating, because they think that they're doing a fun activity.
I think the robot just being kind of inherently cool. I mean, children just kind of like robots. It's just quite cool. And that has definitely enhanced engagement.
And we find that from here, we can eventually move on to working with that, interacting with people, and we find that it makes a nice transition and they start interacting far more.
Shall we see the robot do a dance before we go?
No, I think the robot should dance.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
If you think about it, almost 80% of our communication is actually through body language and facial expression. Only a small percentage is actually your spoken language.
It's true. And a lot of our children aren't verbal, so understanding non-verbal communication is vital for them.
According to the American Speech and Hearing Association, up to 50% of children with autism have a form of communication difficulties. So finding methods to support their development is crucial, something that Bethan is working on every day.
We need to work on all of those, because if I am a non-speaking child, I need to learn ways to communicate through other means. So that could be, do I lead somebody to what I want? Do I sign to say that I want to eat? There's so much more to communication than our actual verbal output.
It's been really inspiring to see firsthand how technology is helping people reclaim their voices and guiding them towards a more effective way to communicate. But it's not just technology that needs to evolve. Sometimes it's society itself. One of the most accessible and impactful forms of alternative communication is something known as AAC. AAC, or Augmentative and Alternative Communication, includes tools like communication boards and symbol-based systems, either physical or digital, that help individuals who struggle with speech express themselves. Now, these boards use pictures, symbols, or words that users can point to or tap in order to communicate their thoughts, needs, and feelings. The concept of using visual symbols to support communication can be traced as far back as ancient times, showing that alternative communication methods have long been part of human history, though now they're more advanced, inclusive, and widely available. And now, something revolutionary is happening. A town on the outskirts of Rome in Italy has become the first ever to incorporate AAC boards around the entire community. I visited San Cesario, where it's not just the schools or the parks using AAC, it's the whole town. I came here to see for myself how children are interacting with these communication tools in their daily lives.
Io voglio giocare, I want to go le bicyclette. Io voglio, I want to go and the bike.
Multiple children are pointing to phrases on the picture board and reading them aloud. AAC boards have been placed across the entire town in noteworthy areas, including the parks, libraries, museums, bus stops, and the town hall, so people can use them to communicate to others if they need to. Most of the children here don't have communication difficulties themselves, but they've learned how to use AAC boards so they can communicate with others who do. The project began in 2023 through the collaboration of several organisations. AAC specialists work closely with local children to explore public spaces across the town, identifying which symbols would be most helpful and where they should be placed. The goal is simple but profound. If everyone grows up understanding the basis of AAC, then everyone who uses AAC can be understood. And it all started with one schoolboy, Alexandro. He has autism, and his grandmother, Rita, who was raised in Manchester, UK, told me how they were able to bring his vision to life.
Mother, the grandmother of the famous Alessandro. Okay. Where are you from, Sean? Exactly?
London. Rita and Alexandro's mother, Daniela, saw him struggle to communicate until he had an AAC board of pictures of his own to use.
This is why Daniela started this project, because she felt her son was excluded, even though he wasn't. Okay, and she said, well, it's not fair that the other children can't understand him and he can't understand them and they can't communicate, so why not try with this project? With the pictures, he was communicating to the people, and the children saw it and they were communicating back to him with these pictures. So she says, well, why can't we do this everywhere?
San Cesario is hoping to be an example for the rest of the world, and they are embracing this tool across the entire area, and even in their education. The classroom is filled with AAC pictures. There's a book that they are reading and pointing to, along with numerous other educational subjects like maths and geography, represented by AAC images on the walls.
Okay, because I just asked her, so imagine you couldn't speak. So yeah, I think this would have been wonderful, because with the symbols I can communicate.
Questa esperienza con Ali mi ha insegnato di non sottovalutare.
He said, being with these kind of people, okay, it's helped me not to underestimate them, okay, because there are people inside. And that is wonderful. That is wonderful.
Seeing these children learn together really made me remember my own upbringing when I was a kid. And I feel really fortunate that my school would incorporate these speech therapy games with the whole class, just to make me feel included. And that is what I think's given me the confidence I've got today. It's more than just communication, it's inclusion.
So I wonder, is it okay if I start asking questions?
The final thing before we get going is that you will need to go at my pace, because otherwise you will move on to another question and I will be still answering your previous one.
The reality is that this program took longer to make than what you've heard. As Casey just said, it takes him longer to answer questions. It took time for Yvonne to type those words. It took 2 years for the town of San Cesario to incorporate AAC. And because of my speech disorder, it took me multiple attempts to record my lines for this documentary too. The development of technology is so important and necessary, and I'm looking forward to a future that continues to use advancements to improve the lives of everybody. But making this documentary has left me with a bigger lesson too. As technology, software, and developments grant new opportunities for those to have their voices heard, it still takes time, and until then, our patience is the biggest tool we can offer. This has been Speaking Out from the BBC World Service. It was an Audio Always production, produced and presented by me, Sean Alsop.
To make sense of what's happening in your world, listen to What in the World by downloading the BBC World Service app.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.